Okay, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. Had a bit of a pause there while I edited some recordings. I'm going to make an effort to make shorter recordings these days. But while I was fussing around with video editors, and I couldn't really record more, I did fuss around with another save. So now we're back in this recording, and I've got the right save this time. Yes, I did do a half an hour or so in the wrong save. This is a housekeeping recording, so feel free to hit next. I will end this recording and start a new one when I leave the camp. What we're going to be doing here is working on picking spells for Shadowheart and arranging all of our hotbars and mucking up with our inventory so that we're only carrying what we want, and we're leaving everything in camp we don't need to carry, and we'll have a whole bunch of things in the camp chest that are available to sell when we need gold. So, with that in mind, here we go. Thinking on the order of this, well, I shift to Shadowheart.
I'm ready.
What appears on her spell bar is going to depend on what spells she has memorized. So I'm going to do the layout of the bars with Shadowheart with nothing prepared. So we can leave the first few columns for her prepared spells. She's got a bunch of things that are always prepared for her. Second thing is, everybody gets 4 bars. I want to get used to this because
I'll give up now.
I am anticipating that later in the game I will have many more things that I want to keep. Second thing, inventory.
Always shop.
Everybody needs a scroll of resurrection and some scrolls and some healing potions.
Want to dance?
Defender of the people.
There they are. So we're going to keep those on us. You notice that Inari has 3, and Shadowheart doesn't have any because she has used one. Now, somehow I want to split this. I have fumbled split in my other save several times, and you end up dropping everything.
The path lies before me.
So let's get out here in the middle where if we drop stuff, it's going to be obvious what we just dropped. And what I want to split is my Scrolls of Resurrection. Sort by value, sort by type. There they are. So right click, split item. I turned on the option. I will be turning this option back off because this comes up way too much. And then this we can say send to Shadowheart. And the thing we want to turn back off interface, bottom of the interface, show item stack splitter. So display the stack splitter UI when you select a stack of items while trading. So now we can go back to make sure everybody's inventory starts with Revivify and Heal. Let's put Heal first.
Defender of the people.
What a charmer.
We don't really care what else is in here as long as those 2 are.
Looking
What's
ahead.
the next thing? Next thing is I want this left panel to be consistent. Now we do have 4 buttons that have hotkeys, ZXCV. I'm going to lay them out across the bottom so that they are in the order they are in the keyboard, but I want to move everything else out first. So on the far right we're going to have other stuff like Speak with Dead. I'm going to put melee actions in this column and reserve this column for bonus actions, They'll have ranged actions, ranged bonus actions, and then following that we're going to have junk. This will probably end up getting compressed a little bit, depending on what we need for spells. Piercing Shot is a action. Flourish is a bonus action melee. So what I have is main hand attack is an action, lacerate's an action, offhand attack's a bonus action, and flourish is a bonus action. So we've got ranged attack and piercing shot. Then over here, I've got sneak attack, which is melee, and sneak attack ranged. So you can either have it always ask or make it explicit. I leave it this way so that I will be using the sneak attack ranged or sneak attack melee buttons to verify that I can get a sneak attack. Because if I intend to do a sneak attack, I want to know if it's not going to be a sneak attack, rather than attacking and then either getting it or not as the game wins. So, melee, ranged, and junk.
Sharp as ever.
Get those set up. I don't think he's got any junk. Let's see here. This is Piercing Strike, which is a action melee. Flourish is a bonus action melee. Piercing Shot is a action ranged, and Weakening Strike is a action melee.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Played at the ready. The pride
So
of
I
the
think
gift.
everywhere we have the same ability, they're going to be on the same button, if possible.
Let's get going. Oh, I could go for a good meal.
Okay, 3, and let's see, main head attack. Her comment about a meal, we just did a long rest, so that was just her talking. Lacerate, action. Prepare. Now, I might want to sort these out by whether they recycle on short rest or long rest at some point. Piercing Shot. And Cleave. Yeah, let's casually here. In this case, I'm going to put Legacy of Vernus is long rest. Lacerate is short rest. And Cleave is short rest. So these are short rest, and that's long rest. And this is not even action. And she's got a spell-like thing I've tossed to the side.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Okay, now here, melee and ranged. She's got a firebolt, which is a ranged action. Because it's a cantrip, I'm going to pretend this isn't even a spell for now. Piercing Shot and Concussive Smash. I think I've seen Concussive Smash before.
Right ahead.
No, Weakening Strike. It's kind of similar.
Let's get on with it.
Okay, so
All's well that
there's
ends.
my melee and ranged
bad as it
groups
could have.
with junk off to the right.
Don't be shy.
Now, Thaumaturgy is just advantage on intimidation and performance checks. I may end up tossing that back in spells at some point.
What
So-
to do?
Now we have these 4 columns over here to work with. So Z, X, C, V.
Where am I needed?
What's cooking?
Can't afford to stay idle.
Can't give up now.
Okay. Now above them, so this is jump, so we're going to put movement-like things here. So things like disengage and dash are going to go in this column. Throw, it's a natural to have improvised melee weapons. And shove, well, shove my sword in something, and instead of shoving my friend, help them. So there's our stuff on the top.
Where am I needed?
Still breathing, despite everything.
I'm ready. Whatever it takes.
No time to rest.
What's
Okay.
next, I wonder?
So all these common actions and melee and ranged combat, they're all kind of clustered here together
Never a dull
properly.
moment.
Speak with Dead, I'm going to toss to the right. What I'm going to do is narrow this down now so we only have 8 columns in this first panel.
Defender of the people.
I wonder what the next move is.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Okay, so let's start with her. She's like going to be the hardest one for spells because her memorized spells are going to stripe in top to bottom on the left. I think that's the order they come in. She has some interesting things going on with her spells. So she's got cantrips, she's got class actions, she's got spells that are always on, and then she will be picking 6 more that are not. And under this, she's got some that are channel divinity. I'm going to move those out to the right. Let's turn undead and invoke duplicity. I'm only going to reserve 1 column for things from inventory that I want on my hotbar. Anything else I can open it up for. So turn undead, I'm going to toss down here on the right. And her other channel divinities, well, the other channel divinities invoke duplicity. Which she can concentrate on, and attack rolls have advantage for you and your allies within 10 feet of the illusion. Possibly useful, but it's a concentration spell, and it does channel divinity, whatever that means. I don't really grok that yet. The other class action here is a Blessing of the Trickster. This is a concentration spell, so in the next column I'll put concentration spells. This is a concentration spell. It is Pass Without Trace. So we concentrate, we can do it once per long rest, and it gives us +10 to our stealth, which is really cool. We recently used Pass Without Trace in our tabletop game, and I think it worked well. What else is concentration here? Resistance is concentration. Now it's a cantrip, and it means target is more resistant to spell effects, receives a bonus of saving throws. It's just 1 target. We got guidance. Guidance is, you know what? I don't even know if I need to have guidance on my hotbar at all, because when you roll, it says add guidance. I'm going to toss it down there in the lower left. We'll place it later. Sacred Flame, again, is a cantrip that does damage. It's a ranged attack. Now, guidance, this helps friends. I'm going to put it over here, along with help. So there's space for it. I don't want it to mess things up over here. So these guys are not concentration spells. They are always prepared. Disguise spell, apparently this is ritual cast. So there are things I can do that are ritual cast. Okay, got it. That leaves us with always prepared. We've got Charm Person and Mirror Image that are always prepared. And I think the plus sign means I can upcast them to level 2. So Mirror Image is cool. A lot of fun. You can put a mirror image up and your armor class goes up, and you've got mirrors, and if somebody attacks a duplicate, it disappears. Whenever you successfully evade an attack, one of the duplicates disappears. Okay. I'll have to experiment with that in game. So there's her spells. So now we pick the spells that we want to have memorized. I'm going to think in terms of, if we unexpectedly arrive in combat, what do I want to have? Because if we're preparing for something, I can change spells at any time. I don't need to do a long rest to change spells. That's a difference from tabletop to Baldur's Gate 3 that I have found out and I kind of like. It would be totally OP in the tabletop arena, but in game, because I could go and long rest, it would just cost me food, which I got plenty of. Just being able to do it is much nicer. And you're not going to do it very often because you're going to spend a lot of time thinking, so what do we want here? Well, let's start out with, what do I want to do before combat? Well, I want to bless everybody. If I upcast bless, I can hit all 4 of us. If I don't upcast it, I leave someone unblessed, probably my cleric. I happen, maybe a hot take, but I happen to like aid. Aid basically says heal everybody for 5 points and raise their maximum hit points by 5. Uses a level 2 spell slot. There may be better things in level 2, but let's start off by saying let's try aid. During combat, take both healing spells. Now, I made a mistake earlier. I was mouthing off in Discord and I said, yeah, I noticed my cleric had both Cure Wounds and Healing Word memorized, and Healing Word doesn't do as much. It's still a level 1 spell, so why bother with it? And my friend said, oh, well, first off, it's a ranged spell. You know, Cure Wounds is a melee range, so you have to touch somebody, and Healing Word is ranged. And second off, Cure Wounds is an action. Healing Word you can cast as a bonus action. At that point I went, oh? So how am I going to keep both of those memorized? So we have 2 slots left. I have found Shield of Faith to be very, very useful. So we're in the middle of combat and somebody's getting hammered on and they're going to get hammered on more. I can toss a Shield of Faith on them in lieu of resurrecting them when the fight is done. And again, it's a bonus action. I can heal somebody and hit them with Shield of Faith. So, liking it. And we've got 1 more spell slot. Now, Sanctuary would mean I could Sanctuary myself and pass out buffs during combat. Okay, well, maybe it is a level 1, it's a bonus action. If I'm getting beat on, I could bonus action Sanctuary, then my next turn I could heal myself and Healing Word myself, and I'd be good. But I'd like something that can really help out with combat. I mean, I'm not a non-combat person. I'm carrying a mace. I want a better weapon. I can thump people over the head, and I can shoot them with a light crossbow. Guiding Bolt is cool. It does 46 radiant damage, and the next attack against it has advantage. Well, what if I hit something with a Guiding Bolt, and then Will hits it with some spell, like Witch Bolt, where if you can get the attack to stick, you do a lot of damage. So I'm going to do Guiding Bolt or Barbarian or something. The reason I'm thinking Witch Bolt is because I'm thinking a lot about Warlocks these days. Witch Bolt, if you can hit the first time, every turn after that you maintain concentration, you do another chunk of damage. So if we can Guiding Bolt for damage, and then that makes Witch Bolt have a plus to hit, he rolls it at advantage, gets the Witch Bolt on there, and then starts piling up the damage from Witch Bolt. That's a really good starting set of damage there. Now, what are we giving up? We're giving up Spiritual Weapon. You know, we could bring these in if we have to prepare for a fight. So I'm thinking if this is what we want when we just, unexpectedly land in a fight to give us a good chance of not having to rewind and start over, that's great. So I'm looking for things that are commonly useful. Of all of these, Bane might be, but I like Guiding Bolt better than Bane. And I like Guiding Bolt better than Inflict Wounds. Inflict Wounds does 3d10 necrotic, so it does more damage. This is 4 to 24. This would be 3 to 30. It does more damage, but it doesn't set up for somebody else to play off of it. So there's what I'm doing. Now, as I set these up, it put them in here, and I actually don't mind the order that they land here at all. And given if I move these around, I don't know whether it will remember that the next time we start changing what spells we got memorized. But there's our spell layout for Shadowheart. Who else has... Well, so generally this is prepared spells on the left and normal stuff on the right. We've got Channel Divinity, which is going to be cleric only. But I want to pull our concentration spells off to the right that we've always got memorized. So concentration could gravitate to the right. Karlach.
Do, thanks.
Karlach has some spell-like abilities. And which ones really are spell-like? For her, she's a barbarian. Again, let's get the dividers to be consistent.
There's no time to waste.
She has thaumaturgy, which is going to aid her. Now, rage is going to be something she does a lot. And when she is in combat, she will be doing reckless attack. The game itself will give you the option of applying reckless attack when you attack. But I am going to put it over here. In fact, I'm going to put it right here. It is an action, but she already has actions. Her actions are going to spill over to the second column. Gain advantage on intimidation and performance checks. I'm going to toss that over here. Crouching, hiding helps you. So using thaumaturgy to gain advantage on intimidation and performance checks helps you. Speak with animals. Talking. We got pushing, helping, dipping. I'm going to put talking with animals right there. That leaves her with two spell-like abilities. Bare Heart, which is rage, and Unrelenting Ferocity, which heals yourself while you're raged. So her spell area is simple.
Where am I needed?
Okay. Our dear warlock friend. He has two abilities related to selecting his weapon. I will mostly be using Bind Pact weapon. I may use Pact of the Blade to try out a different weapon if I want to try something that isn't the weapon he's got. I'm going to put them here. I need to remember to use these. If he wades into combat with something he's not proficient in, he's going to have a bad day. So, spells here. Cantrips, Blade Ward and Eldritch Blast. I put those at the top. He can cast those all day. Actually, class actions, I think I put them in lower right earlier. Yeah, let's put them over here. They're still visible. Arguably more visible. Now for spells, he's got two spell slots. And the spells he has are Hex, Witch Bolt, Armor, and Hellish Rebuke. Well, we're setting up to use Witch Bolt significantly, so I'm going to put it here. And he will be using Hex in combination with Eldritch Blast. If he has to go into combat, he'll want to use Blade Ward. So, situationally, we'll have to figure out what we're doing there. Let's put the cantrips in the first column. If he's purely going into combat, he'll be using Blade Ward and Armor of Agathis, which are both level 1 spells. And if he is... yeah. Let's organize this according to... Well, he's not going to be able to use all three. What makes sense? What makes sense to me is for me to generally on warlocks have Hex and Eldritch Blast at the top. And I still need to figure out what ability I want to give them disadvantage on. I've been using Charisma because Warlocks, when they cast spells, the spell saving throw is Charisma. But Eldritch Blast, which I generally use while I have the Hex active, is just an attack roll. Witch Bolt is an attack roll. So I can give them disadvantage on other abilities. Blade Ward only lasts 2 turns, so it's going to be a get me out of jail free card. And Armor of Agathis I will use if I'm wading into melee. So what this does is it gives me 10 temporary hit points and deals 10 damage to any creature that hits me. Now this is 5 and 5 if I've got level 1, but he's got level 2 Warlock spell slots. That's pretty significant. So if he's wading into melee, he wants the armor up. And again, Blade Ward only lasts 2 turns. If I'm getting smacked around, I can use Blade Ward. Again, the Witch Bolt is going to be for that combo with the Priest. So the Priest lands a Guiding Bolt, I land a Witch Bolt. I will have advantage on my attack roll, and what this does is 2d12 plus another 1d12 every turn after that I maintain concentration. I think that takes an action. So then the question I would have is, each turn I'm saying, well, I want to roll a d12 for my damage, or do I want to do something else? And I'm not sure whether that is going to be, do I want to concentrate on a Witch Bolt, or do I want to swing my sword? I may, at that point, if we're using that strategy on a boss mob, I will have to make that choice on site. But I think that's all of his stuff. His reactions, he's got a Hellish Rebuke he can use when he's attacked. It will pop up something for me. I don't need to have it here. And he can do opportunity attacks. So there we're good. Make sure her reactions are set. Yeah.
What's the story?
Spellbook, reactions. Need to make sure to check those always.
Looking ahead.
Now back to the roguelock. I want my warlocks to be consistent. So he's got Hex and Eldritch Blast.
What now?
Our Hex and Eldritch Blast aren't quite as hot as his. They won't be in the long run because I'm a level behind him.
The pride of the gate.
We both have Armor of Agathis, so we're going to put that in the same place. I have Speak with Dead and Mage Hand. Mage Hand is a shove, push, pull, whatever. Speak with Dead is a talk to somebody thing. I'm going to put that over here. I think somebody else has Speak with Dead too.
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
No, turn undead. Okay.
Soldier.
The pride of the gate. Sharp as ever.
Okay, so I've got the ability to Speak with Dead. I've got it here above crouch. It's fine. And all of my reactions are all set to ask. If I do an attack, and I could have done a critical hit sneak attack, that's interesting because this should be melee and ranged rather than normal and critical hit. Anyway, ask me about them all. I will use the buttons here when I need it, and if I don't select it and it comes up, I can either decide, oh, I intentionally wasn't using sneak attack on this strike. Now, what I want to do, I really want to score some hand crossbows, because when I shoot a hand crossbow, if I miss with the main hand, I can shoot with the offhand. And if both attacks hit, then It's actually competitive with the damage from a normal crossbow. And if the first attack misses, I still have the second attack that I might be able to get a sneak attack on. And if I do a playthrough fully rogue, I will be going for hand crossbows because I already know that I just absolutely love the way that works in the game. Well, I like how that works in tabletop. And I want to find out how it works in Baldur's Gate 3. But that's not this playthrough. I am the lockpicking warlock. Sorlock. Haven't taken any sorcery levels yet. It might be time to do that next level. I'll have to think about that. I really wanted to get Sorlock in so the sorcerer could do the meta magic, which would give me the ability to use my bonus action to cast the spell. We'll see how that works when we get to it, but I think the two synergize. And if not, then I'll be comparing the Sorlock with the Warlock. So we'll both stay in the party. I will be comparing how the Warlock plays versus how the Sorcerer play, how the Sorlock versus the Warlock play. Okay, now the fiddly part. Inventory. Is anybody carrying anything that I want to have on my main character? Well, she's got too many potions of healing. I want everybody to have 3. So 3, 3, 3, and Karlak will carry the rest. She's tank. She may need more. She's got her soul coins. He's got stuff that should be on the main character. So pouches and such, I need to empty those to the main character when I remember to do that. Scrolls of Revivify and health potions come first. I'm going to move these off to the right. Just to make it easier to deal with my priority items. And you. Main character inventory. Sort by value. Sort by type. Let's move everything down a little bit. So, I can live with that. Oh, everything's moving around because it's all still selected. I need to select just the one thing. There we go. So my 3 bags, the pouch I picked up, which I've put a few things in, gold, potion of healing, and revivify scrolls. Now the rest of this, much of it I want to leave behind, and some of it I'm going to want to give to other characters.
Don't waste a step.
But that's... Oh, I need to work out what to keep in the traveler sheet. Before I get this all right in the right order, I need to work out what I want to leave in camp and what I want to take with us. And then once we start selling things, we're going to have to work that out. So value, type. So sort by value, sort by type leaves us with gold, pouches, other stuff. Healing potions are down here, and the scroll of Revivify is down here. So I don't really... Yeah, it's almost there. We're going to keep the shovel on us in case we need to dig something. We don't want to head back to camp for that. We take all of these weapons, except for No, let's take all the weapons, because everybody's got the weapons they want, right? Oh, wait a minute. Morningstar. Shadowheart needs the Morningstar. Because the Morningstar does more damage. Okay, so if you're overweight, you can't be sent more things. So I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to send it to the camp area. Torches. Oh, torches. Be nice to have everybody have a torch available if they need it. Karlak doesn't have one. She can see in the dark, but it'd be nice to have the ability to carry a torch in case I want somebody else to see something. So let's do value and type again. And we got down to looking at our weapons. Are there any weapons here we want to send to somebody? Yeah, the Watcher's Guide will, instead of summoning a weapon, I could use a weapon and make it my packed weapon. So if I use the Watcher's Guide, I have this rush attack. Very convenient. It means that if I do my move and I can't get close enough for my melee attack, and I really want to do a melee attack, I do a rush attack. I get no opportunity attacks on the way. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it potentially could, knock the other guy off balance. So off balance says disadvantage on strength and dexterity checks, and everybody else has advantage. So knock somebody off, rush in, knock it off balance. A barbarian comes in and does all sorts of crazy stuff. Might be good. So we're going to send this to Will. Now, this means that Will needs to be very careful to make that his packed weapon every time he comes into game. We'll go ahead and keep the rapier on him just in case. Although I think that if he can change weapons, he can also declare his current weapon his packed weapon. But just in case, we'll keep that on him. Any other weapons we want to keep in our inventory? Now, the rest of them we could pretty much send to camp. So who did not have a torch? I think that was Karlak.
Let's march.
Okay, Karlak, you now have a torch, and you're now wielding it. Oh, you now have it in your light thing.
No time to dally.
I don't know if it counts as a light source unless you actively have it wielding, but at least you have one. Okay, so I don't really like this hat. If I find a hat I like, I'll wear it. Otherwise, I won't. I think all of these. Yeah, the ring mail armor. I don't have anybody that does heavy armor, I think. So all of the armor goes into camp. I will carry the extra torch. Rings and such, spare underwear, clothing. This is all camp stuff. Send to camp. So we now have this pendant. This allows somebody to provide guidance. So if I did not want Shadowheart in the party, then I would still have guidance available. Now, I am wearing the Amulet of Lost Voices, which that's what gives me the Speak for Dead thing that I've got down there. Shadowheart can cast it, so I think the best person to send this to would be Will.
Sharp as ever.
So Will now has the ability to cast guidance. And let's put these in place. So he now has his rush attack and his guidance. Guidance is a help thing, so it goes there.
Let's move.
I'm going to sort by type again to compress everything up. We've got a whole bunch of letters. Goblin's Drawing has an orange border. Shipping Orders has an orange border. Stamped Handbill has an orange border. Aside from that, we can take all of these things. I'm going to keep these orange bordered things in my inventory, and the rest goes to camp. Sending things to camp is really very efficient. You can do it during combat even, I think. So next bit, Alchemist's Fire is something we might want to throw around a bit. Keep the bedroll on me. I am not sure whether we have to keep the bedroll on us or not. I think I picked it up at one point. This should be inside my bag. All this is junk. There's throwables here. I am no good at using throwables in game. I'm useless. But let's keep them in my inventory. The Dark Mind and the Slave Mind. I don't know what these are going to be used for. I think I should keep them on me, just in case it's like a quest item that pops up when things happen. And Mysterious Artifact. If you take Shadowheart out of your party, the artifact is removed from her inventory and placed in yours, and it's now bound to you. So, I wonder what happens if I make Shadowheart my main character, if I make her the leader of the party, and remove Inari from the group. I can't imagine they're going to allow that. Yeah, that's a quest-like item. So unless I actually run out of carry weight, I'm going to keep all the quest-like items in my inventory. Mugwort belongs in a sack. Rogue's Morsel belongs in a sack. I don't know what the rope is used for, but I'm carrying it. Salts of Bodewort go in the sack. Void bulbs are throwable. I don't know what the spider egg sack is for. Be cool if it gave me a spider follower of some sort. That is an alchemy thing. It goes in the sack. Water. I guess it's throwable. Okay, so with that in mind, all the rest of this stuff goes to camp. That brings us down to 122 weight. I could send some of this to our friends. I think I'm just going to carry the rest of this. So now we sort by value and by type. And now I'm going to try to make my inventory make sense. So, keychain, camp supplies, alchemy pouch, my pouch in which I have put my thieves' tools and my trap disarm kits and my gold for no particular reason. Potion of healing goes there. Scroll of revivify goes there. Now all these scrolls, I really want to leave them in the camp. They need to go to the wizard first. The wizard needs to consider if he can memorize them. And if not, then I need to figure out who can use the scrolls, put them on that person, and so on. We've got some elixirs. I've got the wyvern toxin that I have sworn to consume the wyvern toxin if I get any symptoms. So let's put the wyvern toxin on the hotbar. Can't put the wyvern toxin on the hotbar. Okay. So I think from here, oh, if I hit sort, it's going to mess up my first line. So now I just need to move things up. Quest-like things next? Yeah, let's do the quest-like things next. And magical things next. Oh, actually, this would be a better place to put the wyvern toxin. And antidote we'll put out here. Simple toxin, basic poison, antidote. Arrow of lightning and arrow of ice, those actually belong in the camp chest. Let's see, shovel, in case I need to dig something up. There we go. No idea if I really need the bedroll or not, but there it is. Now, throwables. Oh, wait a minute. Dark mind, slave mind. I had a... I thought I had a thing that went with those. No? Guess not. Okay. So throwables, we've got Alchemist Fire, Caustic Bulb, Spiked Bulb, and Void Bulb. These are all throwable things. And the rest of this is, I don't know what these are used for, and rope. All nicely packed.
Should mind my step.
And the first time I sort my inventory, I'm going to be so upset because I just went through and got everything perfect. So at this point, everybody's all set, and we have our spells picked out, and we have our hotbars set, and we have our character sheets available to us. So, fair with Shadowheart, neutral with Karlach still, and fair with... So Will and Shadowheart like me, Karlach is getting to know me still. We just picked up Karlach. I think at this point we are ready to leave camp, so I'm going to do a save. Actually, let's do a named save. So new save. This is 09H57M campsite. Onward. And now I'm going to do a new recording as we leave the campsite and start to do something else. And we will figure that out on the other recording because that's part of dealing with it. Back in a moment.